Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN, one-click protection for all your devices. Securing yourself could not be easier. Visit expressvpn.com/funhaus. Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Filmhaus. I am joined by Omar, Elise, Jacob to talk. What else but ba 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 ba. And that's the Marvel. Dun, 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 dun. There's the Hulk. Oh, and look, it's Black Panther. Oh my God, look, it's Hawkeye.
Oh, the comic books.
Hawkeye's here too, I guess. Cool.
Wait, Hawkeye's still on the horizon, right? There's a Hawkeye show.
Yeah.
Because
teased.
Black Widow. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, this is a tease of a tease. This is a tease.
Yeah,
and that's the tease. Anyway, okay. There is a lot of stuff happening with Marvel, given Loki wrapping up and Black Widow dropping finally, 7 years too late, and also the question of what's next. The door is wide open for some multiverse shenanigans, and we wanted to break it down. So, everybody, let's talk Loki. It's the first Marvel show I've watched on Disney Plus. I know I did not see WandaVision. I did not see Falcon and the Winter Soldier because I was busy with other prestige television. I was watching The Sopranos, but I finished that now.
It's not an intent to not watch those shows. You just haven't gotten it to it yet.
To be honest, I am really glad to talk about this stuff with you guys today because I was a little marveled out after Endgame. I was just, you know what? I'm good for now. I don't think that's a unique viewpoint, but I had a little bit more trouble getting back on the horse. So, I still haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home. And so when the shows were coming out, I was like, I'm not so interested. But I love Tom Hiddleston, and I love Owen Wilson. So that was... And I actually also love the woman who plays... and I'm just going to say big spoilers for all Marvel products. I'm fine to get spoiled on the other two shows. I don't care. But if you are not finished Loki, I recommend holding off on watching this podcast or listening to it. But yeah, the woman who plays Sylvie was in another show on CISO that I really, really enjoyed.
On CISO? Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a deep
I know.
Yeah.
It got its
No
second
clue what that
season.
is.
It got its second season on Netflix, so it crawled out.
What show was that?
It's called Flowers. And it's like a great cast. It's like one of the guys from Mighty Boosh, Olivia Colman, a few other stars of stage and screen from across the pond. Top mate. So anyway, I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah, I hadn't recognized anything she'd been in, but she was great in it.
She is
and I was like, I gotta find something that she's in because she was very good.
I mean,
she was great.
She's the lead of that show, not Tom Hiddleston, right? Like, she's like
Sophia
the main
DiMartino.
driver.
I think she's kind of like, since we know the characters so well, the Marvel movies kind of have to position the supporting cast as like the actual motivation to watch sometimes. Although I love Tom Hiddleston. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too. I like Tom Hiddleston more than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
Is the really interesting part of it. And like you hit the nail on the head. He and Owen Wilson are really fun together.
Yeah, having a character like, he's this Asgardian god character and all the
god of mischief
personality that you'd expect from that, alongside a very Owen Wilson-y character.
Yeah,
it's just it was really fun to watch.
Wow.
Tom Hiddleston does a good Owen Wilson impression too.
Does he really?
He does.
Yeah, and he doesn't even do the wow in it.
He's good at impressions in general. He does a lot of impressions.
Yeah, he does a lot of them.
Yeah.
I had no idea. This is all news to me. I became fastly enamored with Tom in The Night Manager, which is
that's good.
Night Manager. It's him, Elizabeth Debicki, and Hugh Laurie, and kind of like a Bond miniseries.
Yeah.
It's like a spy sort of thriller.
Intrigue,
and it's got a lot of sex appeal.
Yeah, the only thing I'd seen him in before was the Kong Skull Island, I think.
Which is great.
Yeah.
He wears a suit really well.
He does, and he does that for most of this show too.
Yes, I think that was a deliberate.
Yeah.
They were like, Tom Hiddleston is like one of those men that he just looks good in a suit. Let's figure out a way to make Loki where he's in a suit the whole time.
Yeah, for 90% of the show, it's just like a button up and slacks.
with a cool ass collar.
Oh my god.
The shirt that he wears in the show is fucking rad. Like the collar,
yeah,
the way that the collar comes down and it like is
across.
sewn back into the shirt, and it's like a line that goes all the way down the chest. I don't know. It just looked really cool. I think I had said this to people in the room a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, but it seems like his career is super weird. Like he was destined to be an attractive male, like British actor, whatever, and then he's
a Cumberbatch.
Loki. Yeah, he's just Loki now, though. He's a comic book. He's in a geek
he's
movie,
better than Cumberbatch,
and that's his entire persona at this point.
Yeah, like Crimson Peak. I'm a Crimson Peak apologist, and he's kind of macabre, dark leading man in that.
I totally forgot about Crimson Peak. I'd seen him in that too.
Yeah, but he is more like, I guess, hunky guy in that kind of. Even though, like, spoiler, he's like making out with his sister or whatever.
What? What is that show?
Doesn't mean he's not a hunk. Just means it's weird.
Thank you, Jacob.
And think of that maybe as him making out with another version of himself.
Yeah.
And that's
all
okay.
All of his relationships
cool.
in these movies are weird.
Yeah.
Listen, as a narcissist, I get it. I'm right there with you, Loki.
Oh, this show having him fall in love with the version of himself is like the peak Loki move.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so good.
And they make it work.
You're in on it. And then when Owen Wilson makes fun of him, he's like, I can't believe you fell you fell in love with yourself. And then you're like, I guess I didn't even think about that because their chemistry was so good.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to do an Owen Wilson voice.
Keep looking for excuses to make it happen because it should keep happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the show did a really good job of like from the get-go making like you, the viewer, not really believe anything Loki's doing until he's doing it. It's like,
yeah.
There's like a handful of times pretty early on the show where something will be happening, but he's screwing with everybody. But the show doesn't explicitly tell you that until like Owen Wilson, his character in the TVA, realizes, oh, Loki's screwing with us again. And I'm like, I'm being screwed with too.
So
yeah.
I felt like a lot of those opportunities too, or a lot of those times, like it showed that he wasn't aware of what, like he's stumbling across this idea as it's happening, like it's not a grand. Oh no, Loki. Like it's not a grand plan. Yeah. It's not his grand plan to have done all this stuff. He's opportunist.
Yeah.
Opportunities arise, and he's really good at turning them around.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Because this show has the labor in the first episode of taking the Loki from Infinity War, or from 2012 Avengers, sorry, and making him an empathetic and redeemed character.
Which was done otherwise over the course of how many movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it has to undo this work and set up for like, this is a different variant Loki who hasn't had the growth of the other Loki from the mainline series, but we're still going to want to root for him and feel like he is this changed character. And I thought the show did that very eloquently. I know some people didn't feel that way, but I was bought in.
I think they did that, but they also made like him being like a trickster asshole. They made that part fun. Like whenever he would do that, it's like, oh, it's funny. I like that he's screwing around. He can't really get out of the situation he's in, but he's trying, and it's fun to watch.
He's so good at that and at making it fun. And like I was periodically remembering like, oh, this is the Loki that was like straight up a villain, like dyed in the wool, Joss Whedon bad guy. And I think there's a version of this show that could have existed where that's the whole arc is Loki kind of coming to terms with which is part of it. Like, is he destined to always be the villain? Which they revisit again and again. But like that could have been the whole thing. Like he could have had that emotional journey, and he does. But it kind of made for me a little bit of a clunky pilot because it had so much legwork to do to like set the stage up. I think it was good. I think it could only work in TV. You couldn't have done like that kind of pacing in a movie.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the thing that landed the best was he was growing as like his understanding of that character was happening at the same time as ours, right? Like he was going through like, cause he was coming in to it with that past experience, learning everything that happened to him in what would be his future, coming to terms with it, and then becoming the character that we understood. Like he was on that same journey because of the way the show was paced.
Yeah. And like that whole scene where he's watching his entire life as it's supposed to happen according to like the sacred timeline or whatever. Mm-hmm. like they have him just alone in that scene so you can actually see how he's dealing with it emotionally and stuff, because he never reveals that part of himself to other people.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and I spoilers for the show here, but by the time you get to episode 4 or 5, and he's meeting all the other Lokis, even in the finale where he's completely opposed to Sylvie wanting to kill the I guess
Remains.
he who remains.
I think
is that version
Kang,
of
right?
that guy?
It's from
Is that
Kang.
version of
Kang the
Kang?
Conqueror.
I would
But
I would want to ask
you
you guys
just
that.
kind of you see now he's seeing all these other versions of Lokis, and he's just like kind of appalled by their behavior. He's like, oh, come on guys,
They're
like
so
he's
selfish.
had that. Yeah, he's had that growth, and with her, he's like, this isn't the way. And you're watching him on screen, and she's not sure if he's going to betray her, and you're like, no, I'm convinced he's not going to betray her, and he's not. This is not a selfish pursuit.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
and Tom Hiddleston's just great in that subtlety.
I think she believed him too, but this was her whole life's mission,
Yeah.
was to finish what she started. And so, because they're not the same, I guess. That's what she says, right? I'm not you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That
I mean,
was
it's
so
nature
good.
versus nurture, right? Like,
Mhm.
isn't that kind of the story they're telling in that whole thing? Because they're the same people, but because of what happened around them, they're completely different people.
It's a real
Yeah.
Dark City situation.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing because then there's the nature aspect of like when it comes to magic, and she's like, you can do magic too, like you have it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Which I guess begs the question of like, do Lokis all have that switch in them, which is like a predestination for evil, or can they be nurtured past that?
Mhm.
Is like a really fascinating way to look at it.
That's
For the record,
true.
I loved classic Loki.
Oh yeah, the
Him
Richard E.
busting out
Grant
his-
Loki.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that was such a good episode. That second to last
That
episode
episode
with
was-
all the Lokis. An
Alligator
Loki.
was so funny because like you're like, well, yeah, I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, are we sure he's a Loki? And he's green. He's
He's got the helmet.
Yeah,
like,
I loved
every
seeing that.
conversation they would be talking and they would just like cut to Alligator Loki as if he's part of it. He doesn't say anything because he's an alligator, but it would always
Yeah, he
have
just
him
goes-
participating.
Oh yeah, and he was very, very well behaved. So I believe he was sentient. There's something deeper there. I don't know if he's a Loki, but maybe by being a trickster, he becomes a Loki.
Yeah.
I really liked the situation when they were all below and the other Loki, the other Tom Hiddleston and his gang of like evil Lokis. So you're like, oh no, this is such a spoke in the wheels. This is
Yeah.
not good at all. This is really gonna hamper us. And then when they all start backstabbing each other, it's
Oh,
yeah.
so funny.
It's
'Cause
just
you're
like-
oh yeah, they're all Lokis, and we don't know how much they were refined emotionally before they were sent here.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah,
like
and
they,
we all.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, like they establish like that they are all different, and they show that they're all completely different, but they all have
Yeah.
that one quality of being able to survive in this unsurvivable place. So they're just
Right.
all conglomerating in this place together.
They're all just
And just
constantly
hanging
at each
out,
other's
yeah.
throats.
We like saw all the promotional materials with Mayor Loki.
Yeah.
So you're watching the show and you're going like, when is he coming?
What does he
How
get
do we
into?
get there? Yeah.
Yeah. That was really funny because like they set you up to think that it's going to be another Tom Hiddleston. Like that's the rub, right? That's like
Mhm.
kind of where they were like, "Ooh, it's another Loki. It's another variant of
Yeah.
Loki." And then when she comes out and puts her hood down, I gasped. I was like, "Loki, you're gorgeous. Loki, you're beautiful." But I think it was funny that then when they got there and you see, what did you call him? The what Loki? The one in the suit
Mayor
jacket?
Loki?
Mayor Loki, yeah, which is so funny.
Mhm.
Like seeing him is almost like a joke, like, haha, see, yeah, there's many Tom Hiddleston Lokis, but maybe they're not equal.
Yeah. Like we saw the glimpses of dimensions, like obviously like spoiler for you, Charlotte, like WandaVision like hints at the implication of this, and like Spider-Man, I guess like we're starting to see that. But this
Yeah.
was very much the first Marvel outing of like, we're putting it out there. There are different dimensions and here's how it works. And so was the TVA and all that and that story and that introduction what you guys were all expecting, or what you kind of thought it was gonna the Marvelverse was gonna do?
I guess I didn't realize where we stood with the multiverse stuff. And so the whole TVA thing with the Sacred Timeline, I'm like, but that can't possibly be right. Like, I know that there's multiverse stuff, and I didn't realize this is kind of what cues up allowing that to happen, it seems, and from what I've been reading. So, like, for the first half, I was like, this seems wrong. And then when they do kind of like the Wizard of Oz Space Blizzard reveal, I was like, okay, I guess then, yeah, I was suspect the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected when I started watching the show. I mean, I loved it because it was just a weird, like, retro universe that the TVA was operating in. It was just bizarre.
They've done a really good job with that and WandaVision, right? Like making like a really unique feel for for those shows that that is really engaging, and it's different from what you're used to from Marvel. Because Marvel's like, all of those movies led up to a kind of gritty superhero story kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It wasn't weird and fun, and
it wasn't fantastic.
It didn't go in ways that like the comic books would let you. Like, comic books are fucking weird, right? And all that shit gets wild, and there's like extreme powers and all this stuff, and now they're finally like unleashing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Marvel movies are like, or not all of them, but there's some weird ones, but some of them are like generally grounded action movies. Like, you got like Captain America: Civil War. We'll talk about Black Widow. Winter Soldier. Yeah, sorry, not Civil War, Winter Soldier. Like, stuff like that. Like, even the first Iron Man. But now we're getting weird, and I'm down with it.
I really like the weird stuff. That's why I think the Loki stuff got me so. I'm now back on board with Marvel in a way that I wasn't before.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision's the show for you then, and I'll confess, I actually, he's great in it.
He's so good.
I didn't think that. I thought that this was going to have like some through line. But I honestly, like, in just wondering what it was going to be, thought it was going to be more of a monster of the week
That's what
dimension
I thought.
hopping.
I thought it was going to be a procedural from the beginning of the second episode.
I thought we were going to be in like some different dimension every week. Loki's going and he's having a new adventure, and I really liked that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Actually, I liked that it was like the mystery of the TVA.
Yeah, especially because there's only like 6 episodes.
Yeah, it was real short.
I don't know what I was thinking.
When they first go to the storm place, the like Walmart,
the void,
like,
the hurricane place.
Yeah, the hurricane. First of all, I thought that was so cool, and it's like, we need to go to an apocalypse, and they the way the music comes in, and the theme is so good in this show. Like, the music I thought was so tonally on, and it's employed in the right ways, and they do things that like Lindelof does with like the different theme songs over the opening and credits.
That little hint of our near
Mike
future
Judge
is like a hyper corporate.
Yeah, which I'm always into seeing stuff like that. But also, I just thought it was so cool, the like exploring the hiding out in apocalypses, and like that's such a neat space to play because I love disaster movies, and to visit that and then continue on past it, I think is really interesting. And that's the episode where things take a turn for not the worst, but away from the monster of the week, like Elise was saying, and that got me really excited because like, yeah, I think I'm on the same page as you. I didn't know that was going to happen. I was on board for pretty much whatever, but I think that the through line,
that it not being the monster of the week kind of thing made me more bummed about the ending, because like the story they were telling ended up feeling incredibly abbreviated and like and stunted in a way because of the way the show ended. And it was all like, oh, this 6 episodes, which 1.5 of were kind of throwaway, I think, like as far as like the pacing is concerned for me, is all just to get you ready for something that's going to happen in fucking 2 years or something. Like, when's the next season going to be of Loki?
I felt a little disappointed by the end because it feels like a setup. It feels like a part one.
Was it supposed to feel like Neo talking to the architect?
Kind of, yeah. There weren't enough TVs.
I was happy to see Jonathan Majors. I like him a lot.
He's great.
I saw like the door opens, he's there. I was like, oh,
he's
man,
fucking
Jonathan Majors. He's just there.
He's
awesome.
awesome.
Bloods.
Yeah, I mean he's good in Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
His character, though, I don't know. Is anybody like, none of you are Marvel heads, right? Like, none of you know the comic book. I don't know if I know anybody who's really nerdy about comic book history, lore, or whatever. But like, everyone was saying that he was going to be Kang the Conqueror, but he who remains is a different character in the Marvel.
It's a variant of Kang.
Oh,
Because
is it?
like, aren't we supposed to assume that because the statue of him that's at the TVA after is Kang? Like that's like the version
Well,
because
they
there's a
never
line
said
that he
Kang, right?
says.
They never said
They never
Kang,
say
no.
Kang, but there's a line that he describes a version of himself as like a conqueror of worlds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like because he describes all the variants, and I think you're supposed to infer like, oh, there's a potential if the recipe's right, where he becomes Kang the Conqueror, and he's this major villain. And so when they go back to the TVA, this is just all what I think. I'm not a Marvel head, and I'm not sure, and I haven't really verified any of this. So, but I think like the big giant statue is like an oh shit. Now in Owen Wilson doesn't recognize him, doesn't recognize Loki, so we're in a different timeline.
Yeah, different
My
universe
heart.
happening.
Like it's already started happening. The thing that
Yeah.
Kang warned
You're-
them
you're
about,
an
or the He Who
analyst,
Remains warned them
right?
about.
Who are you? Who are you? You're an analyst, right?
And so now he's like Kang, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, so I was super confused. Like, yeah, because everyone was saying Kang the Conqueror, and like and saying that his character was going to end up being Kang the Conqueror or whatever. But like, He Who Remains. When I googled that later on,
Yeah.
I didn't see a connection to a variant of Kang or a version of Kang or anything. I just saw it as a separate entity that created like, and it is in the comic book lore. It is He Who Remains who creates the time skippers or something, and that becomes the TVA in a later iteration or whatever. There's like a couple of things that happen that like the first attempt at correcting the timelines didn't work, and then the second attempt is what the TVA is.
Yeah, maybe it is just deliberate that they didn't call him Kang in the show because maybe they want to establish that some other way.
Yeah, it's very the MCU being like, well, actually, we're our own thing, and kind of Star Trek Into Darkness, like, ooh, I wonder who this character is. Could it be Khan? I don't know.
Doctor Strange, actually. Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's actually Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I did really love the final line of Jonathan Majors, He Who Remains, says to Sylvie, where he's like, "I'll see you again."
Yeah.
He's I'll see you soon.
I'm like,
and then he just dies.
I'll see you soon.
He's so happy.
It's great.
I mean, his line deliveries were fucking perfect. He was so
Yeah,
good.
when
Like
he
that, like
crosses that
weird
threshold,
and like you could tell that he's been alone for way too long, so he's got he's got no way. He doesn't understand how to speak.
Screw brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love there's like the scene where they're kissing and you can see him out of focus, just like loving it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't show him, but you can see him in the background, just like with his hands together, just like watching them smooch.
I mean, I was joking. I watched it with my friend, but when they walk into the palace at the end of time, or whatever it was called, and like Mrs. Clock or Miss Minutes shows up, and I went, I knew it. It was her all along pulling the strings.
Tara Strong was so good as her.
She was so good.
Yeah, when she popped up in that citadel, I jumped out of my pants.
Yeah.
Well, I did not expect. Yeah, Jesus Christ, it's terrifying.
You're just not ready to know that information yet.
Yeah, when she's like, oh, this is what he wants you to have.
He wants you to have.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tara Strong was great in it. Winmi Masako, who is also from Lovecraft Country, and she was in the really great horror movie His House.
She's the main. She's like the one TVA agent.
Judge Renslayer.
No. She's the Hunter B-15.
Hunter, yeah, the Hunter. Yeah.
Oh, Hunter.
Yeah.
B-15.
I was really excited
Renslayer
to see her.
is Gugu Mbatha Raw.
Yeah, because she was good. That character didn't really like hit right for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine.
Being honest.
Yeah, I think it was like just she was there.
I think I'm with Omar that I feel like this finale is going to be much better in retrospect after you get payoff in season 2, because it does a really good job of setting up what's to come, and it does deliver on stuff, but as in its own package, I feel like it's not very satisfying. Like, I just watched The Boys, and I think the finale of season 2 of The Boys is one of the best examples I've seen lately of wrapping up in a really satisfying way what's been laid for that season, but also opening up so many questions. And I feel like the Loki finale is so much coming from a place of Disney, where they're like, we know there's going to be a season 2. There's no question for us. We control the content and the platform. And so it's gonna, I think, once we get the delivery, like it's gonna come to pass. But as of now, I wasn't super stoked on it because episode 5 was so good. Like everything in the Void was so fun, and
weird. That to
such
me,
cool
that's
characters.
That's the other half. Like it was the last episode and the half of the Void episode that were like, man, these didn't feel like it was progressing stuff the way that it should have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was fun, but it didn't feel like it made the story. It didn't push the story in the right direction.
And in the last episode,
for so little
they get where they want to go, but then it opens up this other big door, and it's like, well, we're not going to see what's through that door until who knows.
Yeah, 2022, right? Like, it's definitely not the rest of this year. It can't, like, is it going to happen in 2022?
I guess
I don't know.
Is like, will we see any crumb of anything that's happened in Loki in Spider-Man Homecoming, or not, Spider-Man,
No Way Home?
No Way Home, is it called?
No Way Home?
Yeah, or Doctor Strange.
Spider-Man, Homer Simpson.
Like, even if we just see Loki in the background, Loki and Sylvie in the background somewhere, it would be so funny and great. Yeah. Just running.
Yeah, because, like, Scarlet Witch is supposed to be in Doctor Strange, right? In the Multiverse of Madness, which is a great name.
That is a perfect name.
Yeah, for Omar and Jacob, ranking kind of, this and the other Marvel series. Where does it fall for you?
That's a toughie. Because, like, this and WandaVision, I just love.
Can
I feel like I was more
one?
satisfied with WandaVision.
I'm just gonna say this one's on top for me. Unfortunately, it's also on the bottom.
Oh no, Loki.
I didn't think I would like. I watched the first episode of Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and didn't think I would like the rest of the series, but I ended up enjoying it a pretty good amount.
I liked it.
It was good. I feel like Bucky is awesome. I don't know who's the Falcon. I don't know his name.
Anthony Mackie.
I guess I don't. Yeah, Anthony Mackie. Like he was super good. Like he was. I really enjoyed. I feel like he did better here than in any of the other opportunities that he had to be in.
They make both those
series.
characters shine.
Yeah,
and like the best parts is them just interacting with each other and them just having like character moments, like all the fighting stuff. It's like, whatever.
I thought
they had very good character moments.
Yeah, fake Captain in that show was real stupid. I think he was intended to be stupid, but it didn't work even as like intention. It just didn't work for me.
Well, I think we'll talk about him when we talk about Black Widow a little bit.
Today's show is sponsored by Freshly. It is the end of the day. You want to eat something healthy, but you don't want to cook or leave the house. Well, Freshly has a solution to this constant dilemma. Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered fresh to your door with no cooking required. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, or their chicken pesto bowl. You got dietary restrictions? It's all good. They have a variety of plans and meals to choose from to fit different dietary needs, tastes, and even family size. Freshly meals are always delivered fresh, never frozen, and are ready to heat and enjoy in just 3 minutes. We love Freshly here. We're all big fans. It tastes great. It's easy to do. And right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off their first 2 orders. Your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/filmhouse. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com/filmhouse for $40 off your first 2 orders. That's freshly.com/filmhouse, FILMHAUS, for $40 off your first 2 orders. Filmhaus is sponsored by Amazon Music, where you will find a ton of binge-worthy podcasts, including Filmhaus. Amazon Music has more than 10 million free podcast episodes to listen to, but Amazon Music isn't just for listening to podcasts, as the name may have tipped you off to. They have thousands of music stations to stream for free, and no matter what you're listening to, you can go hands-free with Alexa. Sorry if I set anyone's off. So if you're like me and you want your music on demand and ad-free, you have to try Amazon Music Unlimited. It gives you unlimited access to over 75 million songs, podcasts, and music videos. Boredom? I don't know her. I don't know what that was. Anyway, with Amazon Music Unlimited, you can listen to any song anywhere offline with unlimited skips. We have people here at the company like Matt Peak, who uses Amazon Music and loves it. So for a limited time, new customers can try Amazon Music unlimited free for 30 days, no credit card required. Go to amazon.com/filmhouse, that's amazon.com/filmhouse, to try Amazon Music unlimited free for 30 days. Amazon.com/filmhouse, FILMHAUS, renews automatically. You can cancel anytime, terms apply. So I was about to queue up a segue actually myself.
Do it.
Because something we talked about earlier is Marvel's getting crazy in these streets. They're going absolutely ham with these multiverses. The timelines, they're getting mixed up like the damn individual strings of a Twizzler, the ones that have more than one string. Kind of lost steam there, but they are going absolutely nuts. And for me personally, it's made it a little bit maybe harder to enjoy the really grounded stories. Although I'm not saying it's impossible, because I also think Black Widow was not a very good movie. So yeah. I think I was watching, I'm like, man, there's all kinds of multiverses out there. And I just finished Loki, which was insane. And this is just so beat for beat, color by numbers. That's where I came from.
What was I understand it sucks that Scarlett Johansson was such an integral part to this entire franchise, right? Like, her and Iron Man are like in the most of the stuff, right? Like, they're the most tied to all of the
been in there since Iron Man 2, yeah.
But like, she's also one of the biggest crossover characters in all the movies and stuff, and she never really got her due. But this was like, what was the point of this movie? I don't understand.
Feel like if this squeezed in right after Civil War, or even right after Iron Man 2 somehow, then it would have been great. But
it had no stakes, because obviously we know everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like, there were really fun characters and fun moments in the movie, but like, the movie didn't need to exist. And it sucks because she should have gotten her due for being such,
a show.
To carrying so much weight throughout that series of movies.
Yeah, it had like, I could see where it was supposed to be doing some lifting for Marvel. I think retroactively it was supposed to say, damn, we're sorry that we kind of sidelined one of the only, what was for a time one of the only like women in our franchise.
Yeah.
And we're kind of giving her it's weird, because like, you can't retroactively give like motivation, like it's so weird, because then it begs the question of like, why didn't Black Widow ever go back to see her, find these people, and why did she wait so long? Like, it raises a lot of questions alongside answering some. I think it was supposed to be a vehicle to introduce Florence Pugh into the Marvelverse.
Is she meant to be the replacement for Black Widow?
I think she's going to be in Contessa Allegra de Fontaine or whatever's like Dark Avengers.
Is that purple hair lady's name? Is that Julia?
That's
Julia Louis-Dreyfus'
name. Because like, she shows up in that, and these are all spoilers. She shows up in that tag, and she's like, Hawkeye. Hawkeye is the reason that she's dead. And I'm like, thank God. Like, because the most we can hope for is that this Hawkeye series comes in, and or Florence Pugh's in it, and she teams up with Kate. Is it Kate Bishop? Is that her name? That's like the
other Hawkeye.
The other archer.
I really hope it's not.
I read
all
Matt
about
Fraction's
that.
Hawkeye, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Matt Fraction's Hawkeye is where the title card is pulled from. I really hope they do stuff in that from that comic book series, because that
cool.
That comic series is fucking awesome. That Matt Fraction and there's two people who do the art, and it's based on if it's like the female Hawkeye or male Hawkeye, depending or whatever. But that comic series is so cool. But I don't think that's what this show is going to be about.
Well, I was hoping that like Florence Pugh and then Derp Captain America would come in as her like little new posse. They kill Hawkeye. Then new woman Hawkeye takes over. We get rid of Jeremy Renner. Boom, bada bing.
Like, I don't want something to just serve as a torch pass, though.
As a Jeremy Renner killer.
No, I just want to get rid of Jeremy Renner.
Well, we should definitely get rid of Jeremy Renner. I don't know if he needs a show to get an exit. I think that could be a press release.
Well, to the torch pass point, I did kind of, because it's like, okay, well, they did Black Widow to give her send off, but then they also use it to introduce like another woman in, and it's like, I love Florence Pugh. I thought she was fantastic in it. I was so excited for her to be part of
the best part
movie. Yeah.
But I was like, it's still
David
Harper was awesome.
David Harper, yeah,
he was fantastic.
It did feel like Scarlett was like sharing she was, there were two leads in that movie. It felt like a bit. And I was like,
I feel like David Harbour and Florence Pugh just kind of stole the show for me.
Yeah, which was
they're kind of all I can remember from the movie.
I think that's Taskmaster was in this movie too, and that guy that gets aircraft for Scarlett Johansson, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Her buddy.
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster looked like a G.I. Joe villain or something.
Shout out to the braids, because we all know Eastern European people only wear their hair in braids. That's
Is that
the only hairstyling.
I didn't know that, but I was talking about the braids. I mean, Florence Pugh had the best braids.
Yeah.
And Rachel Weisz's were kind of startling. It was like looking into the inside of like the quantum realm. I couldn't trace any strand back to another.
Yeah, with this movie, like, it was the same kind of like similar with Loki and stuff. And Captain, for me, Captain, what do they fucking call Falcon and Winter Soldier? I want to say Captain Falcon.
I didn't know until 2 days ago.
But like, I like the characters. I like the characters just sitting in a room and talking with each other. I thought they did a good job with that stuff.
Yeah.
But as soon as they like fly up into the cloud, and I saw there's like a flying like villain layer, I was just like,
because we've seen it all. We've seen it all before.
Yeah.
The scene where Florence Pugh, they're at the dinner table, and she says like, "It was real to me," none of you told me, but it was the most real thing, and the happiest part of my life was a lie. Like it was great.
Yeah.
It's very great.
In the scene with the two of them in the car, and she's talking about her like vest and the pockets and stuff, it felt so like, it just felt like a really genuine moment between siblings or whatever, like, or old friends.
And the pose conversation at the gas station. Was really cool. Why do you do that?
Poking a little fun at themselves.
Scarlet wears the vest in Infinity War or whatever.
Yeah, which I had no clue about.
It's not a shield. Like, I didn't realize the vest was such a crucial part of her character.
Yeah, and I never know if that's a retroactive thing where Marvel's like, oh, we should take the vest from this movie and put it on Florence in this movie and say that, they kind of go back or if it was like when they're making Infinity War, they have the roadmap and they go, put the vest on her now and then we'll put it on her sister later. Like, I'm always curious what the chicken and egg there was.
It was like a vehicle for a good conversation in the movie.
Yeah, their conversations were great. I wish the family had gotten together. I wish that were I wish it had been opening in the early 90s or whenever, when they're in Ohio. And they escape, and then they do the worst opening sequence I've ever seen, set to an awful cover of "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
It goes on for a while too.
It goes on for a long time.
That cover went to the top of the Billboard charts or whatever.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Of course.
I wish I could hear a song like this. But I wish after that point they had gotten the family back together, and that was the movie. Because all the stuff with her escaping and then going to Budapest, and then it was just weird.
Budapest.
I don't know. Budapest. Budapest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that scene with David Harbour and Florence Pugh, and he's just totally awful at cheering her up or talking to her. Him just being completely incompetent at almost everything in the movie was so good.
It had really funny parts, like when he gets hit by a dart and he goes, "You're gonna need more than that." And it's doom, 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 and they just shoot him.
Or him just squeezing into his old uniform.
And there was good stuff. I think the way I put it with my friend when I watched it is that it's something that I would watch in the afternoon, hungover, and the remote's a little too far away. And I'll watch it with commercials. It's on AMC, so I'll just sit through it, but I'm not gonna get up and change it. I got nowhere to be. I
had read that the part where someone's like, "Oh, are you on your period or whatever?" And then Florence Pugh is like, "No, I don't get my period because I had a hysterectomy because they involuntarily sterilized me or whatever."
Well, they ripped out my uterus.
Yeah.
I read that she improvised that.
Really?
And I was like, "That's great.
Oh, that's great.
That's excellent."
Yeah, they definitely play that part up for laughs.
That was great.
Oh, and it was uproarious.
Oh, what fodder. What incredible.
It was a very clever retort.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cool. She's so funny and pretty, and it's just all undercut by the fact that she's dating Zach Braff.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until last night.
But she's amazing in this. She's great.
What is the age difference
Someone
there?
needs to.
Isn't Zach Braff
21.
an old man?
He's 46. She's 25, and she's living her life, and that's okay. But why Zach Braff? There's any number
made
of
the
men in their
accent work.
40s.
She did a good job with the accent.
Okay, but Charlotte, some of us look at Charlotte, at Zach Braff, and they go, "Oh, why Florence Pugh? Come on, Zach, you can do
Yeah,
better.
you could do so much better. There's so many other 25-year-olds.
Come on,
Just remake Scrubs already.
Yeah, Scrubs too.
Yeah,
Scrubbier.
Scrubs too. Get scrubbed.
What struck me in this movie is like Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh are both short,
Yes.
and David Harbour is huge.
Yes.
Every time I'd see them together, I'm like, damn, he big boy.
Florence Pugh looks short.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson does not.
And she's shorter, isn't she?
I don't know.
Scarlett Johansson is 5'3".
Okay.
Florence Pugh is 3'11".
Oh, wow.
Her favorite band.
Yeah.
She's
Amber is the
303.
color of her energy.
Let's see how tall Florence Pugh is. Florence Pugh height. 5'4". What is this 5'4"?
Got 1
I
inch on ScarJo.
They fudged that.
I didn't realize that it was her. That was the screaming girl from Scary
Midsommar?
Movie. Yeah, Midsummer.
From Midsommar. Oh,
Yeah.
I know her as Frowning Girl from Midsommar.
Yeah,
I know
she's
her
frowny,
as,
crying,
frowning
screaming
girl from Little Women. Belligerent artist.
I'm trying to think. I think the first thing I saw her in was the wrestling movie.
Wrestling with my
Wrestling
family or the
Wrestling with my
family?
family,
Wrestling
yeah.
with the family, the podcast.
And I was like, who the fuck is this? Because she's awesome.
She's killer. Yeah, I'm always happy to see Florence.
Yeah, she's great. So yeah, it did set up as a vehicle. I think we're going to see her a lot in Marvel. I mean, Black Widow, we've got the multiverse. Can't Black Widow come back? Can't Chris Evans, Captain America come back? Like, can't we see it all?
We've got,
I
think we could technically, but I think they're all pretty much like thrown in the towel, except for Chris Hemsworth, who is so in love with playing Thor that I think he will do it forever.
Yeah.
as he should be.
They threw him in with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm sure we'll see him again plenty.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
gonna be
we
so
will.
fun.
Yeah.
Was ScarJo one of the people who were like, I'm done with this nonsense? Because like Chris Evans, right? Wasn't he like, I'm done with this? Like, I'm done being Captain America. I want to move
Yeah.
on. And I don't
Something
know
like
if
that.
Robert Downey Jr. had that too or whatever. Like,
I think
Ruben,
Robert
maybe-
Downey Jr. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
bring him back. That was
He's
like-
a Mr. Magoo now or whatever. What was the movie he made?
Dr. Dolittle.
Mr.
Dolittle.
McGoolittle.
Dr. Dolittle.
I watched a scene, like, I was like morbidly curious because I heard it was awful. And there's like, I guess the climax is him sticking his hand up a dragon's asshole.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, he's a doctor. I wouldn't
It's true.
wouldn't trust
He's there to
anyone
help.
else
He's
quite
there to
as
help
much.
animals.
I like
ca-
that those Amazon boxes are still floating around every
Yeah.
now and then. You'll see
Oh, are
one
they? I
that's
get
just
Chris
fully
Pratt Tomorrow War ones now.
Well, I mean,
kinda
I don't know if
hope-
they're still sending them out, but you'll find them around
Oh,
at
okay.
the office too.
I really hope that this is an invitation to say, hey, you don't have to sign any multi-movie contracts, but if you want to do a little like pop in fun thing, especially now that we've got the multiverse, all rules are broken. Like, I just think that would be so fun.
I could have sworn I
Um,
saw some statement from some Disney person about them trying to be away from like franchise long contracts or something like that. I don't remember though exactly who said it or what the context was.
do you think
But-
that Disney came out behind in any of those deals? They couldn't have, right? Like, even if they
Right?
were paying those people crazy amounts of money, they must have just cleaned up
Yeah.
I mean,
on
Endgame
this
is the
entire
most-
last.
The highest
What,
grossing
20
movie
years?
of all
These
time,
Marvel
right?
movies, they rake it in.
And they got Avatar? Are you kidding my ass?
What don't they got?
Is Pandora in the multiverse?
Oh, is this time for a crossover?
I see you. The Ice Cinematic Universe. The I
What?
see you.
I see. Ah.
I know like Omar mentioned it, Black Widow kind of getting the shaft, and I will say, like, just not to dredge on it, but like just looking at the themes of the film, she definitely got the shaft at the end of Endgame where like Tony Stark gets this big like ceremonial,
Oh, yeah.
everyone's standing there solemnly and like, what are we
Right.
gonna
Well,
mention
she
Black
gets the
Widow
Hulk
at all?
throwing a bench
Yeah, Hulk
Yeah.
threw that bench in the lake.
pretty far.
But I really think like that this did not do enough to like kind of pay tribute
Just
to her and what she
Send her
did.
off.
And
Yeah, because it's like, well, that all happened. Now let's go
Yeah.
do 7 more movies.
Hope
And
you
then it
stuck
comes
through the
back at
credits.
the grave. And
I
it's
saw-
just like, what?
Florence
saw-
Pugh like visiting her grave was really sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
then
okay,
it
so
becomes a
that
setup.
specifically, that scene, right? Like I saw a thing on the internet. Who knows if this is true or not? But there was an alt version of the ending where somebody responds to the whistle that Florence Pugh
The
does.
whistle.
So
And then
there's
it
a like
cuts.
a whistle back, and then it hard cuts out like that. So
Oh.
like there's also a theory that she's not actually dead, because when Captain America went around and returned all the Infinity Stones, in returning the Soul Stone, he would have gotten her soul back, because it's a soul for a soul or whatever. But
I just
who
got
knows?
goosebumps. I think it's just the air conditioning.
Yeah. Do you think that they're ready to get weird with all that stuff? Like Disney and Marvel are ready to get weird with this entire franchise? Because like they have the opportunity to, and like the Multiverse of Madness could be a weird movie. And I think that the Doctor Strange, the other movie, was one of my favorites.
Spider-Man.
And yeah, Spider-Man.
If it goes the way it's been theorized to
If
go,
yeah,
it'd
if
be
all the
really
spoilers
fun.
Alfred Molina says are true, because he doesn't.
I
know
would
what's
I
up.
would
Yeah.
follow Alfred Molina to the ends of the earth after to know that Boogie Nights and Spider-Man 2 are a mere like year or two apart from each other.
Are in the same universe. I will say
Same
just one thing
universe.
I wanted to say about that scene, because I saw somebody pointing out online, was that Florence Pugh, if you look at what she's wearing when she visits the grave, her clothes are all kind of like pretty eclectic and they don't really match and they're kind of funky. And I
Yeah.
saw someone write and they were like, she's never gotten to choose. It's like a child choosing their clothes.
Oh.
Because she's never
Oh.
gotten to like have that choice
Really?
and do
'Cause
that. And I was
thought
like,
she
that's
just
really
lived in
sweet.
Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
But I hope
That's
you're
a
right.
fun
Like,
detail.
or to your question, Omar, I really hope that it gets like bananas.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
are popping up everywhere and it's who's
Yeah.
who, what's what, who knows, which way is up.
Does that mean we've said goodbye to the kind of like grounded like spy action movies? Because Winter Soldier did it so well, and then I feel like
And that was so
Black
long
Widow
ago.
thought, yeah, it was so long ago, and I feel like Black Widow tried to emulate some of that kind of like genre filmmaking where it was like the locations in Eastern Europe and like the espionage themes and destroying an apartment with a very close combat, similar style fight. I thought was really cool. It didn't stick the landing for me. How does Marvel do that now? Because somebody put it this way online. There are two kinds of Marvel movies: space and baseball hat. This was a baseball movie.
It was.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
know.
yeah,
I feel like
I
they
don't
just
know.
have to have characters carry it if they have stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we might see some more interesting mashups and team ups.
Mhm.
Of-
True,
of,
yeah.
You know, or maybe in a different dimension. Maybe it's a story, a baseball hat story that takes place in a different dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Loki, Jake Sully.
Oh,
Well, they got to
I
figure out
see
ways
them.
to cross over Black Panther now too, because they're doing more Black Panther stuff. And
That's right.
That
guy is
script
not
has been
around.
through many revisions, apparently, according to.
I mean, they would have to. right?
Understandably so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, that came. That
they want
was
that
a
to
surprise
be-
to everybody when that.
I think
happened.
Doctor Strange changed directors a whole bunch too.
isn't that Sam Raimi?
I think
Is
it
it
ended
Sam
up at Sam
Raimi?
Raimi.
Yeah,
I think
Oh my
he's
god,
like
that
the
makes me
third
so
in
much
line of
more
directors.
excited.
I know.
yeah. No, that's cool. We're getting Sam Raimi and Alfred Molina.
He's just trying to get back to
Yay.
Alfred Molina by doing a Marvel movie.
Yeah, very much so.
Weird.
I don't
What a
know.
weird choice.
I have high, I
I'm
have
back
high
on-
hopes for that. I want Doctor Strange
I'm back
to be good.
on board in a way that I wasn't before, and I want to.
You should check out WandaVision. It's a really good
I gotta
show.
check out WandaVision. Yeah, I might just watch The Sopranos again. But, we'll see what happens.
here's like what. So like next up on the docket, there's like What If. There's Shang-Chi, Eternals, which Eternals I guess is going to be in response
God.
to Loki, right?
Eternals looks
Spider-
like it's going to be
I have
garbage.
no
Yeah.
clue.
I feel like
Yeah.
Kumail has been jacked
Yeah.
for 8 years. Let him
Spider-Man,
rest.
Spider-Man No Way Home, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel. That's the end of 2021. 2022.
Jesus.
Doctor
Wait,
Strange.
that's this year?
That's this year.
They're back.
Good Lord,
Doctor
they're back at
and
it. Phase 4.
2022 is
Damn.
Doctor Strange, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, and then 2022 also presumably Moon Knight and She-Hulk. Rumored, or what did they say for Loki season 2? 2022.
2022. Well, actually, I don't remember. I think at the end of the actual episode, it just said Tokyo
Yeah.
will return in
Nailed
season 2.
Toki,
Yeah,
he should be
season
Toki. There should be a version of him.
I want to
Toki
have a
Doki back
Toki
to
and
it,
cheese
please.
sandwich.
There's
don't-
also Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special,
Oh,
Ant-Man and the Wasp,
that's
Quantum
funny.
Mania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I don't know what the fuck.
I feel
that
like
is.
I'm looking at
Fantastic
one of those,
Four.
like,
Sounds like they're
those
going to get weird. I think
Blade.
that's our answer.
Deadpool 3, and then predicted our Ironheart and the Armor Wars.
Oh my god!
Or, did they announce Armor Wars?
This
are
feels
they
like
resting?
You know that when they have the conventions and they announce like 5 years of movies and have all the
and
titles
it's
up on
all
the screen,
those logos up
and
there.
I have a heart
And
attack looking at it.
They all vaguely follow the same design philosophy too. So
Yeah.
it's just like, it all feels like one mega. Are they like resting the X-Men? Don't they have that now?
Do they? No,
well,
they don't have that yet.
Deadpool 3?
Did they
I thought they
tease
bought
Fantastic
20th
Four?
Century Fox.
Well, they. Oh, I guess you're right. They have.
Yeah.
Since they own Fox, I guess they have that all
Yeah,
back.
July 20th,
Maybe they're letting
2023
Dark Phoenix
is
cool off.
rumored
Well,
Fantastic
they're letting
Four.
that X-Men
2023.
movie that
Oh
came
my
out
God.
last year cool off. That was
Oh,
some
New Mutants.
Yeah, that was some real trash.
Oh, I forgot. I thought you were
God,
talking
that
about
came out.
the
They
Dark
didn't
Phoenix.
even market it. I thought, wait, was that like a legit X-Men entry, New Mutants, that they just never
I don't
marketed
know.
and just
it was like
let
in that
fall off
universe,
the-
but that's
Right?
it.
Yeah, I mean they had mutant powers. They were mutants.
Damn.
Movie. Ah!
Oh, yeah, Phase
Yeah.
4.
Ah!
Oh, the Hawkeye logo.
No.
I forgot about that. That's so bad.
Where is it? I gotta look.
Where's the
It's
Hawkeye
late
logo?
21, bottom above Ironheart and Armor Wars. It looks
No.
like an app.
That's the Hawkeye. You're making fun of the Hawkeye one. That's the logo from that really rad comic book.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't read it.
The comic
And
book.
now I feel bad.
the comic book is
It's a bullseye.
Is Hawkeye when he's not being Hawkeye, but so like he's like
It looks like a rom-com.
he's like his neighbor is making too much noise, so Hawkeye has to deal with it or whatever, like that kind of stuff. Like,
Funny.
like there's some weird shit happening in the neighborhood. Like some people are harassing the kids in the neighborhood, so then Hawkeye has to deal with it or whatever. And that comic book is
yeah.
fantastic.
Okay.
I'll have to
Okay.
check
Look
that
how
I'm right
cool
there
it
with
looks
you.
on the comic book.
Yeah,
It's better in
man,
black.
That
I will
comic
say
book
with the
is so
design
good.
of the cover, I think the logo works.
Yeah.
But among all the other ones, it stands out in a weirdly sterile way.
Yeah.
And then I think it's
when's
David
Shang-Chi?
Aja
Is
does
that,
the art. Primo.
What?
Shang-Chi soon.
is that September?
The art. Oh, okay.
That movie looks fun. I don't know anything about Shang-Chi or like 10 Rings or whatever, but I'm down to clown with it.
That dude's from
I
Kim's
have no idea.
Convenience. Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
he's real good.
I hope there's just some like cool fights in it and stuff. Like
Oh, yeah. What Iron Fist couldn't.
I even forgot Iron Fist existed.
Yeah. You ever watch that pilot or any of the show?
No. Nuh-uh.
Everyone was right. Everyone was right. That was not an overblown dunk fest. That was absolute trash. And
For 3
that guy-
seasons, I think.
2 or 3, yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember the actor's name. The Flower Knight. He blamed the failure of the character on Donald Trump. He's like, people can't empathize with a rich white man now.
Wait,
Flower
Flower? Oh,
Knight?
from Game of Thrones? That guy?
Yeah, the guy who played Iron Fist.
I don't even remember his name.
It was really bad. Anyway, we're past the Netflix Marvel originals of old. Much love to Foggy and Daredevil and the whole gang and Punisher and
Yeah.
and all of them. Much love, much respect, but sorry.
These shows have been good. These new ones, like from
These shows are
The-
good. I am gonna check
WandaVision
out
onwards.
WandaVision. Yeah, what's that? Like 10 episodes, but they're shorter.
how long was WandaVision? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You know what?
either.
I'll just look. I have
WandaVision was
Disney Plus.
9. And I remember that because it was such a weird, random, like odd number. And
It
I
does feel
remember
like an
people
odd
at the
number.
time theorizing that there was going to be this surprise 10th episode. And I was like, that would be so cool.
Oh man, people will grapple onto all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
Did you before we, because it seems like we're wrapping up, there's a somebody did where they lined up the last episode of WandaVision, the last episode of Loki, and if you play them at the same time or something, like when He Who Remains reacts to something happening around him, it's when Wanda is like turning into the giant, her giant like witch self or whatever those two things line
Oh.
up. I don't know.
Wow.
That also might be like, you know,
That's
because
cool.
climaxes happen at the end of something.
I like Jacob's like, or maybe
Yes.
you're just stupid.
Maybe you put
Or maybe if you follow a 3x
Yeah,
structure
like,
and blah blah
You
blah
ever
blah.
throw
been in
some
the
water
car
on
and
this.
looked at, like, listened to music, watched light poles go by. I'm just kidding. Maybe it is something.
Did you ever notice if you play A
I
New
think it's
Hope
neat.
and Empire Strikes Back at the same time, Mark Hamill's in both movies?
Wow, Jacob, destroyer of
Destroyer
worlds.
of
I
and
they call me
self-esteem.
Conqueror.
He who remains skeptical
Yeah.
through it all. Well, cool. I thank you guys for enlightening me on why I'm wrong about the Hawkeye logo, and also helping rekindle my my re-burgeoning love of Marvel, because I do like superhero movies. I feel like I'm excited to see more, and I just wish Disney didn't own everything in the world. That's where I am. Just like, oh, maybe let go of something, so I can enjoy this earnestly as a consumer.
Yeah.
But no, they're probably gonna buy like a country or something.
Yeah, we're on the path.
Don't they
pick
own Anaheim basically? Like,
Yeah,
they have like
pretty much.
plants in the city council.
Yeah.
Bob Chapek. I've been on his water slide.
Oh, that doesn't sound. I know that sounds
That's
right.
a tale for
That
another
name's
time.
put on a
That's the end of the
water
episode,
slide.
I think.
All right, well, tune into the Chape cast, the Chapek show. I don't know. This is a bust. We gotta go.
Yeah, let's get out of here quick.
Watch Loki if you've somehow made it through this episode without seeing it. Recommend it. Skip Black Widow.